Alright, now we're going to start disassembling the factory intake and prepping to install our new intake. Alright, so first thing you're going to want to do is take this little red safety clip here and push it out. That's going to allow you to push down on the clip on the mass airflow sensor and then pull that off, place it to the side. Next, you're going to have two Phillips screws on both sides of the mass airflow sensor. I bought my car used and it looks like someone only had one of the screws in there, but normally there's two. You're going to remove this Phillips head screw, well, both of them actually. Just pretend there's another one there. And then wiggle your sensor and carefully set it to the side. Keep it away from any sort of dust or anything because it's a very sensitive sensor and you don't want to get any dust particles on it. Next, what you're going to do is take a flathead and loosen the hose clamp on the elbow for the inlet of the turbo. Once the hose clamp is loose, you just pull the elbow off. Sometimes it takes two hands. Next, there's a hose that goes into the factory airbox. It's a little hose for like water. You're going to just pull that out, set it to the side, and then firmly pull up on the airbox. And then your factory airbox is out. After you're done, this is what it should look like. Have a nice open area for your new intake. Alright, so next what you're going to do is you're going to take the elbow that comes with the kit and the smallest of your hose clamps, and then we're going to be installing the smaller end onto the inlet of the turbo. What I normally like to do whenever I'm installing silicone like this, I'll just take like either some WD-40 or in most cases I'll just use spit. I know it's gross, but rub the inside of the hose. That way you don't have any issues with getting it on there. Take your hose clamp, put it on, then take your flathead, push it down until it sits flush, and don't bother tightening any of your hose clamps yet because chances are you're going to need to move the coupler after you start installing the rest of the stuff. So leave that loose and we'll tighten that last. Next, you're going to install your heat shield. Now with this kind of arch here, you're going to want to put that right on top of this bracket for your AC line, and then it'll only go in there one way, and then you just sit that in there like that. And then if you look over here, let me grab my flashlight, you'll see this needs to be on the inside, and then up here on the top is going to look like that. And there's also pictures and instructions and everything on Bad News Racing's website on the link where we got this. And you can always use that as reference as well. Take your straight coupler and put it in through the heat shield about halfway, and it's easy to move in and out. Then take one of your larger hose clamps and place it on there like so. Next, you're going to take one of the larger hose clamps and put it on this elbow here that connects to the turbo housing. Then you're going to take the mass airflow sensor housing and we're going to mate these two pieces together like so. You're going to want to use the part with the curve going into the elbow that goes onto the turbo inlet and just slide it in there like that. and then just kind of maneuver it until this gets that angle that you need for your housing or for your heat shield. Okay, we got all our hose clamps here. Here we got the velocity stack and the air filter here. What you're going to do is you're going to slide the velocity stack into the air filter. Let's go ahead and loosen this hose clamp a bit. And the ring on the velocity stack should sit flush with the inside of the air filter, like so. You can go ahead and tighten this down. You don't need to tighten it down too much, just snug it down. And I opted to go with the air straightener. I felt like it was just a cheap, good investment. Makes tuning down the road easier, and it helps mimic the factory air skews. So I would definitely go with getting the air straightener option. Now you're going to take your hose clamp, place it there, and then take your air filter and slide it in. Next, you're going to start tightening your hose clamps. We already tightened the one on the velocity stack. Next is going to be the one in between the heat shield and the air filter. And just snug it down. Doesn't have to be extremely tight. Just run it down there. Next, we're going to move over to the one on the opposite side. Now we're going to tighten the hose clamp in between where the mass airflow sensor goes and the heat shield. Now we're going to tighten the hose clamp on the elbow. And then lastly, tighten the one on the elbow to the turbo inlet. Now we're going to tighten the hose clamp on the turbo inlet. Now it's time to install the mass airflow sensor. Now it's very important to install it in the proper direction. The air has to flow past the sensor this way with this little cutout facing the filter. So take it, place it in, and you don't have to snug these down too tight, just make sure they're tight. Alright, so now that those are in, you can take your mass airflow sensor plug, plug it down like that. Alright, and that's it. Now time to start it up and see how she sounds.